Hello there and welcome back. In today's story, we're meeting someone who does everything right, gets everything done, and somehow, despite all of this, still keeps getting passed over. And by the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly why. Welcome to Unshakable Her, helping ambitious women who are constantly second-guessing themselves to build the daily habits that compound into unshakable confidence. I'm Caroline Esterson and I'm in your corner. And today it's Monday, which means I'm telling a story. Because the best way to see your own situation clearly is to listen to someone else live it first. Then we'll crack open the unspoken rulebook of how power, promotion and visibility really move so that you can stop second guessing and start moving away from imposter syndrome and towards the influence you deserve. Grab your coffee. Let's go. Now, before we get really into it, I want to ask you something. Think about the last month at work. Just sit with it for a second. Who made sure that the new person felt welcome? Who sorted out the leaving card for a colleague, drafted the team update nobody asked for but everyone read, stayed late to help someone whose deadline was slipping? Not because it was their job, but because they're just that kind of person. Was it you? Yeah, I thought so. All of that care and consideration is wonderful. It's the stuff that keeps the wheels greased. Yeah, it counts for nothing on your performance review. None of it is in your job description. And there's a very good chance that someone who did approximately zilch, none of it, just got promoted over you. And that's not a coincidence. It isn't even a mystery. It's a system. And today we're going to meet someone living right in the middle of it. So what you're getting today, you're going to meet Jade and finally have a story that puts a name and a face to the frustration that you might just have been carrying around for a while. You're going to understand exactly why doing more doesn't automatically mean getting more and why that isn't your fault. And you're going to leave with something to think about that might just change how you see your whole working week. You ready? Let's go. Meet Jade. Maybe you've met her before or someone just like her. Jade's 34, works in operations for a mid-sized logistics company, and she's been there several years. She is, by every measure, excellent at her job. She is also, by every measure, the person the company could simply not function without, and the person the company has never once stopped to properly reward. Let me paint you a picture of a week in Jade's life. Monday. Jade notices that the new graduate, Tom, looks completely lost. His manager is travelling. Nobody has briefed him. Nobody's even told him where the toilets are. Jade has 3 things on her own plate today: a supplier query that's been bouncing around for a week, a report due by 4, and a conversation she needs to have with her own manager that she keeps not quite finding the right moment for. She clocks Tom at 9:30, hovering in the kitchen, pulling out cups from the cupboard, not sure which one he's actually allowed to use. She stops midway through writing an email, closes her laptop, goes over to say hi. She makes him a coffee and then spends 45 minutes sitting with him, walking him through how the systems work, how the team actually operates, who to go for what, the stuff that's never in the induction pack because someone decided it'd be easier just to let people sink or swim. She draws him a little diagram on a Post-it and gives him her number, tells him to text if he gets stuck. She does it because she's kind. She does it because she was once the lost new person and nobody helps her. She goes back to her desk at 10:30. The supplier query is still waiting. And she has to stay late to finish the report. Tuesday. There's a difficult client call at 2. The account manager is out sick, texted in at 7, which Jade saw because she checks her messages before she's left the house. She spends her lunch break reading back through the client file so she's not going in blind. She wings it brilliantly, de-escalates the situation that left unhandled, would have cost the company the relationship. She's warm, precise, and unflappable on that call, even though she's running on half the information she should have, even though her own deadlines are stacking up while she's on it, covering for the account manager. She documents everything afterwards, a full handover note, the client's concerns, what was agreed and what needs following up. She sends it to the account manager and copies in the director, just in case. The account manager replies with a thumbs up emoji. The director doesn't bother to reply at all. Oh well, Jade files it away and gets back onto the rest of the day. Wednesday. Someone in the team struggling. Jade has known this for about 10 days. She notices the small things, how they've gone quiet, the slightly too bright responses in meetings, the way they stop joining the group for lunch. So she makes time at lunch to check in. She sits down next to them in the kitchen and asks how they're doing in a way that makes it clear she really wants to know. She isn't their manager or a trained coach. She has her own afternoon packed, 2 calls, a document to review, a spreadsheet that somehow became her responsibility, even though she's never quite worked out why. She sits for 20 minutes, just listening. She doesn't try and fix anything. She just really wants to make the person feel less alone in whatever it is they're going through. She eats her lunch at the desk afterwards. It's cold, and she has one eye on her emails. She is the unofficial emotional infrastructure of the team. She didn't apply for this role. There's no job description for it. There's certainly no salary uplift. Thursday. The weekly report goes to the director every Thursday at 5. It makes the team look good. It's well structured, clearly written, and the data in it is always clean. It wasn't always any of these things. 18 months ago, Jade started noticing errors. Small ones at first, the kind that wouldn't matter until suddenly they did. She started quietly correcting them. Then she started improving the structure. Then she started rewriting the language because, frankly, it was embarrassing and she wasn't going to have the director reading something that was embarrassing with her team's name on it. She does this every week now, sandwiched in between everything else, usually on a Wednesday night because Thursday is always chaos. The person who technically submits it gets a mention in a senior meeting for how organised and on top of things the team is. Jade's on the call when this is said. She smiles wryly to herself but says nothing. She tells herself she knows the difference she made and that's all that matters. But you know what? Deep down, it niggles that her name wasn't mentioned. Finally, it's Friday. Jade is asked again to coordinate the staff summer party. It's the 4th year in a row. Nobody asked her formally. The operations director just forwarded her an email with, "Can you lead on this, Jade? You always do such a brilliant job," and a smiley face. She has at this point a full Friday of actual work ahead of her. She also has a nagging sense that she should be working on the project that might finally get her some visibility. The one she pitched 6 weeks ago, the one a manager said looked promising, and the one she has not had a single uninterrupted hour to progress since. She opens a new spreadsheet. She starts a venue shortlist. She does it with a smile. She's actually very good at it, and everyone will say so in August over beautifully chilled Prosecco and a buffet she sourced, negotiated and confirmed 3 weeks in advance. But it won't come up in a performance review. Meanwhile, let me tell you about Daniel. Daniel's 31. He joined 2 years ago. He's good at his job. Genuinely, let's be fair, he's competent, he's focused, and he delivers what's on his job description. He doesn't do any of the visible things. Not because he doesn't care, he just doesn't do them. He's laser focused on his deliverables. Last quarter, Daniel was promoted to senior operations lead. Jade found out via a circular email. She went home that evening and said to her partner, "I don't understand. I do so much more than him." And her partner, annoyingly, said, "Maybe you need to be more vocal about the things you do." And Jade died a little bit more inside because that is just not her way. Here's what nobody tells Jade and what nobody told me for years, what I want you to hear right now. The problem isn't that Jade is too quiet. The problem is that Jade is doing work that the organisation has decided, consciously or not, should be done by someone, should be done for free, and should never count. The work that holds the culture together, the work that keeps people sane, and the work that makes the workplace actually function as a human place, that work has a name, and on Wednesday, we're going to get into the science of it. But right now, I want you to sit with Jade for a moment. The system has identified her as a safe pair of hands for the stuff nobody else wants to do, and it keeps loading her up. And she keeps saying yes, because she cares and because she's good, because she was raised to be helpful. And the system mistakes that willingness for availability, mistakes her competence for a resource, and mistakes her care for cost-free. Every year she stays at the same level, a little more of her confidence erodes, and she starts to wonder if she's just not ambitious enough. Maybe she's just not strategic enough. She's certainly not something enough. But she's wrong. She is enough. She's more than enough. She is just being taxed. The unspoken rule book. Know the rules, own the game. So every Monday I give you a rule that nobody wrote down, but everybody operates by. And this week's entry is, whoever says yes first gets asked again forever. I bet you've seen this in most workplaces. Invisible work doesn't get allocated. It just gets absorbed. Someone steps in once, does it brilliantly, and from that moment on, it is silently assigned to them. There isn't even a conversation often, no decision. It's just an expectation that is quietly calcified into fact. It's not malicious. It's not even conscious most of the time. It's just how organizations fill gaps. Find the person who filled it last time, which means your willingness, your care, your reliability is being used as a filing system. Does any of this sound familiar to you? The unspoken rule says, do it once, own it forever. So watch out. Sit with that this week. Notice where it's happening to you, and then we'll talk about what to do about it on Friday. So here's what I want to leave you with today. Jade's struggling with her career because she's carrying skills that organizations will one day say they are desperate for, and she's spent 7 years building them in real conditions, under real pressure, and without a safety net. She's not flailing. What she's doing is spending an enormous amount of her time, energy, and talent on work that her organization takes freely and rewards not at all. That cost is real. But so is everything she's been built while paying it. And on Wednesday, we're going to find exactly what that cost is called. So the question I want you to sit with between now and Wednesday is this. What would your working week look like if everything you did was actually counted? All of it. The covering, the caring, the fixing, the holding together. What would that number be? So that's it for today. You met Jade and finally had a story that puts a name and a face to the frustration that you might have been carrying around for a while, but not really understood why. I hope this has made the cost you're paying so much clearer. You now understand exactly why doing more doesn't automatically mean getting more, and why that's not your fault. And you're leaving with something to think about to change how you view your working week, and think about how much of what you do each day is contributing visibly to your prospects for promotion. Or is it just expected because you're nice? And on Wednesday, we'll get into the research that finally put a name to what Jade is carrying. And once you hear it, you will not be able to unsee it. That's it for today. But before you go, if a woman came to mind while you were listening, maybe the one who's stuck, the one circling a promotion, the one you know is quietly wondering if it's just her, send her this episode. Because she gets to feel less alone, and you get to be the woman who refused to let her stay stuck, who reached back instead of scrolling on. be in her corner like I'm in yours. See you Wednesday.